Presented by LegalZoom.
MegaCast is back for the College Football Playoff National Championship game tonight. Clemson and Alabama will be on ESPN, but we will have you covered for every platform. TV, radio, digital coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. And tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, you know what it is. It's the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Clemson battles Alabama at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. The game is also streaming live on the ESPN app or watch ESPN. You can check it out on the go. We are having so much fun today thanks to this crowd. Welcome back to the Tampa Convention Center. First take on the road for the National Championship game, a rematch of last year's thrilling final between Alabama and Clemson. It is a beautiful sunny day down here in Florida. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, taking a trip to Mollywood. Time to get familiar, people. So here's what happens in Mollywood. The fans get to take over the show. And speaking of Florida, right now we have lovely Stacey Hines with us. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, she's not a Miami or Steelers fan. Made it very clear she is a Bucs fan. But you have... You have a question on that game for the guys. Go for it.
Yes, my question is for the guys. Do you think the hit on Matt Moore was a dirty play that needs some consequences?
Well, I definitely think that. I don't think it was a dirty hit per se, but you can't lead with your helmet. And because he led with his helmet, the NFL is going to look at that, and he'll probably get a fine. But that's about all it was. It wasn't anything dirty. I thought it was a good hit, but again, they teach you can't lead with your head. You can't lead with the helmet. He led with his helmet against Matt Moore. That's the problem. Yeah. But I think it was just something that he didn't restrain himself. I don't think it was dirty.
Yeah, I think it was gratuitous, meaning he didn't have to hit him like that. But then again, if you can hurt the other team's quarterback with a legal hit, why not? And you get much more latitude out inside or as a defender when the guy's outside the pocket. If that's inside the pocket, no doubt you don't get away with that. But outside the pocket, that's why running quarterbacks take more punishment than the quarterbacks who stay inside the pocket. You get much more protection by the rules and by the refs in there.
Stacey, great question. Thank you kindly. We appreciate you coming up. Where's Anthony? Where's our Giants fan? Get over here. How are you doing? Good to see you. Anthony Draper from Roosevelt, New York, representing Big Blue all day. And I understand you have a Giants question? What is it?
I do not. It wasn't necessarily his fault, but should the Giants start looking past Eli Manning?
So disrespectful, as Stephen A. would say. Come on, Anthony.
Okay, I'll tell you what. No, Eli's still got more football in him. And by the way, when I say, I quote the Nate Silver study done last year, most clutch quarterback in the history of the postseason, that doesn't mean the best quarterback in the history of the postseason. That means here's his regular level. What happens when he hits the playoffs? Does it stay the same, go down, or go up? Eli goes up off his regular level more than anyone ever in the playoffs. You could say that's because his regular level isn't what Brady's in Montana. That'd be true. But he does. And I thought he elevated yesterday, too. I thought he was actually quite good yesterday. It's not that he's not good anymore. It's that he's 36 years old. And when you look at the NFC East, you look at Philadelphia, Dallas, and Washington, they all have young quarterbacks. The Giants, they don't need to move on from him now, but they have to have a backup plan. They got to get a young quarterback in place for that day in the not-too-distant future when Eli's not there.
I agree with Max in that respect. He is 36 years of age. You've got to have a backup plan. The man hasn't missed a game in 12 years. He's played every single game for the last 12 years. He hasn't missed a game. He's an Iron Man in that regard. So in that respect, he's dependable, he's reliable. And it certainly wasn't his fault that they lost yesterday's game. The flip side to it, however, is that we got to be sensitive to the era that we're moving into. The quarterback that is mobile, plus knows how to throw. If your name ain't Tom Brady, we ain't feeling you as much as we used to. Even though you need to be able to be a pocket passer, you have to have dual capability to, offset that threat. And if you can't do that, then they could load the box. They could come at you all day long. And there's a confidence that's elevated by defenses where they believe they can get at you. When you're mobile and you have the ability to throw in the pocket, that's the direction that a lot of teams want.
One thing about that, Eli, Iron Man record, and he stays in the pocket. So what I said in the last question, those two things are probably related, too.
Stephen A., Tony Romo might be available. That could be a good option.
Well, we all know.
It's a joke.
Speaking of that's liable on the field, he can't stay on the field.
You could have Listerine and still have a little bit of bad breath and hurt Tony Romo.
Anthony, you look good in blue. Thank you for being with us. I hope you can enjoy yourself, even after last night's game. All right, Carrie, where are you? Carrie Leonidas from Boston. We got a Patriots fan in the house.
Max, Stephen A.
How are you?
What you got for the guys?
It pains me
Okay.
as a fan of the real America's team. But should
The Packers? You're a Packers fan?
if he comes back healthy, should the Patriots move on, trade Rob Gronkowski?
Oh.
I think everything depends on the value that you can get for him. The man has had, what is it now, 9 reported surgeries since he's entered the NFL. He's got 3 back injuries, 4 forearm injuries, 1 knee injury, 1 ankle injury. And when you look at it from that perspective, and even Coach Bill Belichick is telling reporters, we're kind of used to it. It's what we expect. And the availability is a huge question mark because of his durability, his ability to take those hits. You got to remember, he's 6'6", and he's big, so people are usually attacking him low now. And as a result of that, it's going to elevate the probability of him getting injured. You might have to go in a different direction.
Yeah, I would say, look, Gronk, when he's on the field, is arguably the most significant offensive weapon in the NFL. You could argue that. I mean, he's that good. And I know there are tight ends that are considered better, but with my own eyes, the guy I want on my team would be Gronk. But at this stage, given his age and injury history and the inevitable decline that's going to come, if you can get something good for him, I think you have to do it. Branch Rickey, who broke the color barrier in baseball with Jackie Robinson and invented the farm system in baseball, used to say, trade a guy a year too early instead of a year too late. If you get something good, I think you should move him.
If anyone knows the right time to do that, that's Bill Belichick. So you should be in good hands with that. And we'll probably see your guys in the Super Bowl again in Houston shortly. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us.
That's the way we seem to trade a player, on the bye week.
No question. We appreciate you. Coming up next from Tampa here, the national championship game, the guys are going to pick it. Will the Tide roll or will the Tigers get revenge? Find out next. First take on the road to the national championship. Stay here.
Clemson shuts down Ohio State.
Alabama gana el Fish Bowl y va a la final el 9 de enero en Tampa.
When you get in this business, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and they give you a big old pair of milk bone underwear and say, go get them.
First Take is presented by LegalZoom. Get legal help for your business and family at LegalZoom.com.
Welcome back to the Tampa Convention Center. You are seeing where it's all going down tonight. Raymond James Stadium. Bama, Clemson, the rematch. First Take on the road for the national championship game. We are so fired up, and thank you so much to this crowd that's here with us. Thank you guys so much. You've all been wonderful. We so appreciate you watching us, being here with us today. Made it a lot of fun, special for us. We are going to get into this game that is just hours away for the final time, the rematch. We asked you earlier on Twitter who would win. You cannot make this stuff up. Twitter split down the middle, 50-50. Unbelievable. So I guess that means we're in store for a good game. Max, you are going with Clemson.
Yep.
State your case, my friend.
Well, look, I know it's never a good look to go against Alabama in a game like this. They are Nick Saban is unbelievable, but I like Clemson for 2 reasons. One, the obvious, Deshaun Watson. He's going up against a rookie quarterback, a freshman quarterback. And Deshaun Watson was the best player on the field in last year's championship game, which was a shootout, by the way, and they lost by the skin of their teeth. Deshaun Watson is now older and wiser, and you'd think a little better, and the guy on the other side of the ball facing him is not nearly of the same quality. No offense to Hurts, but he's not Deshaun Watson. And then the other thing is the Clemson pass defense. You think about this. Their DBs, 20 interceptions this year. 20 interceptions. So they're ball hawks, and they got a fierce front 7 against that freshman quarterback. Either I see the secondary creating turnovers, getting those interceptions, giving Deshaun Watson more opportunities, then you get a shootout. I like Clemson in that kind of game. Or they turn Alabama into one-dimensional Bo Scarborough offense, and I think Clemson has really good chances in that kind of game, too. I'm going Clemson.
The crowd's liking it.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Let me tell y'all something. You can have all the questions in the world you want about Jalen Hurts. He is a freshman. He's thrown 9 interceptions this year. You can have those questions. You can have questions about the fact that Derrick Henry is no longer there, rushing for 2,219 yards last year, and you got some dude named Scarborough, and you're saying, oh no, he's not going to be that dude, even though he's fresh off 130 yards rushing on just 19 carries. Watch, have quality. That doesn't matter if Fitzpatrick. It does not matter. Roll Tide. We're talking about Nick Saban. This is why you bump Lane Kiffin out. There and send them to Florida, with that Florida Atlantic. That's where you send them. You do something like that because you ain't worried about your offensive coordinator coming in. You're not worried about the fact that Steve Sarkisian is going to be in his first championship. It's a national championship on the line. It's Nick Saban, who is the best in the business. I love Dabo. I love Deshaun. But I'm going to say it one more time for y'all. Roll Tide!
To the first thing, our crew who made it possible for us to be here.